Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for superhero Zachary Levy!
How's everybody?
Thank you.
Fantastic.
You are as nice as everyone says you
I'm incredibly nice. I'm the nicest person ever.
Oh my god, look at these guys, they're all here.
So pretty. What's up, man? How you doing? How's everybody doing today? You good? Good. Well, I'm very happy to be in Germany. It's my first time in Germany. You guys have been very gentle, and I appreciate that. We're going to do some Q&A, right?
Yeah, we actually have a little surprise for the audience because they don't even know that yet.
Oh!
So
Surprise!
Surprise!
We're doing a Q&A!
So here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You have subtitles up there, so you'll understand everything we're going to say. That's awesome, isn't it?
I sound great in
a
German.
live translation to German.
Or look great in German, you guys think? How is my German, what's the word I'm looking, dubbing voice in Germany?
Synchronstimme, wie findet ihr die?
Yeah, is he pretty good?
Yeah.
Does it sound like me?
I see thumbs up down here.
Alright. It's okay.
I guess they just prefer you, right?
Well, I prefer me too.
What? Are you having a coffee there?
I am having a coffee.
Oh yeah. Well then enjoy your coffee, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go down to the audience.
Oh, you're going to be the microphone. Hi. How are you doing?
And we are going to start right with a Q&A. That's a little surprise we planned for you guys because we figured there are a lot of questions for Zachary.
I think there looks like there's right.
I know. I'm just coming to you guys.
You guys don't mind that I sit here and sip my coffee?
Hello.
Okay.
What if I answered questions and sip at the same time?
So, okay.
Go
What was it like to play a child as an adult? Because I think that would be super cool to be a child again. Because I saw the movie and I was like, okay, I want to act like that again. What was it like for you to be young again?
I mean, like,
and that's old.
For me, playing a child is like every day of my life. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really do believe, philosophically, I believe that we're all created for purpose, for a purpose at least, maybe many purposes, I don't know, but and we don't always know what that purpose is going to be, right? When we're kids, it can be very confusing because you don't know why you are the way that you are. You don't know why you act the way that you act. And if you're particularly goofy and spazzy and weird and outgoing, like this knucklehead was when he was a kid, it's a very difficult thing to figure out where you fit in the world. And some of that led to a lot of aggravation, desperation, feeling lost, feeling not welcome or belonging to certain groups, particularly in like, I don't know what you guys call it in Germany, in high school, you know, kind of like grades 9 to 12, something like that. That's a very, in the United States, that's a very difficult time if you're not already physically beautiful and have parents that do well enough to buy you the really nice, fashionable clothes and all of that stuff. It's a very difficult thing to find confidence, right? And I was super spazzy and nerdy, and I read comic books and played video games and was in theater. I was in drama. I was the biggest like theater nerd. I did lots and lots of theater. So, but I say all that to say, now where I've gotten to, particularly playing Billy Batson or playing the adult-looking version of Billy Batson, I genuinely look back on my whole life, every bit of who God made me, the spazzy, nerdy, outgoing kid, and I go, oh, it all made sense. It all made sense. I mean, not even just this. I mean, I can't wait for all the other things that will make sense in my life and in my journey. That we need only, I really believe, that we need only just be patient with ourselves. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people. We're all on a journey that's bringing us to really groovy, interesting, important, powerful moments in our lives. And look, and sometimes those powerful moments we notice because you see how that ripples out. Sometimes you have no idea the moments that you're going to be involved in your life. You might have a chance encounter with somebody on the sidewalk or at a bus stop or at a restaurant, whatever it is, and you have no idea the conversation you might have had with them that then set them kind of, like two, you ping off each other, and that collision kind of like, say, oh, and now they're going to go and accomplish something that they wouldn't have ultimately, So all of that, I mean, that's how I feel. So when, I know that's a very, by the way, in case you haven't already noticed, I'm very verbose and I'm also very tangential, so I'll go off on a trail so far that I'll have a hard time coming back. I'll need your help on that. Also, sometimes I cry in my panels, so deal with that. See, you might cry too. Oh man, it's gonna be great. What was I talking about? Anyway, but all of that to say, like, that I'm so grateful that with every job, I feel more of my identity. The job helps me understand me in a way, which is really weird, but yeah, and it's so cool and so fun getting to play a kid when you're not a kid anymore. You're 38 years young and your hair is slowly salting up. Although I do like my salty hair. But, and then all of a sudden I get to be a 14-year-old? I mean, that's just dreaming. I mean, who doesn't want to be 14 again? No responsibilities? Come on. Next question.
Thank you, Zachary. I'm right here. I have a young gentleman
right
over here. And that's an applause for you. Thank
you don't have to. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Yes?
First of all, thank you for coming to Germany. And
so happy to be here. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for inviting me to your incredible country. An incredible city too. Really beautiful. Right on the river. Love it.
So there have been a lot of rumors about Black Adam being in the new SHAZAM movie and played by The Rock. Is there anything you can tell about that? Or
no.
No?
Nice try.
No, I can say that as far as I know, Black Adam is not going to be in the second SHAZAM because the idea is that they want to go and do a standalone Black Adam movie first, and then like this. So it would kind of be like if we get to do a third SHAZAM and a second Black Adam, kind of like that. Yeah, that's where we would, because he's like the ultimate bad guy for Captain Marvel, SHAZAM, right? Like Black Adam, like they're doppelgangers, right? They're the evil twin to who I am. So that's got to be like the final battle. If we do that in the second movie, then where do we go after that? It would just be a movie, just us sitting around playing video games for the third one. That would be very boring, or not. I'm a very interesting video game player. So yeah, I think that's the idea. Is that that's the plan is to get there, but just to pace it out, however it needs to pace out. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Who's next?
Over here. Could you stand up, please?
I wanted to ask if you could spend with any character that you portrayed a day, who would it be and why?
Ooh.
Nice question.
Ooh. Well, I mean, obviously it'd be fun to spend a day with SHAZAM because he's magic. We could go fly together, charge people's phones. I think that would be pretty interesting. Super strength. Just to witness somebody like catch a bus would be really cool. To crush steel barrels in a single crush. That doesn't sound nearly as good as leaping buildings in a single bound. Anyway, the point is, I think that could be fun. Although I've always kind of joked that Chuck was basically me. So I don't know that would be the most interesting, but it would be the most comfortable. Because I could just sit with myself. Me and Chuck would just hang out and be like, oh, you're me. Oh, awesome, great. Let's play video games. Yeah.
Okay, over here I have someone all the way from Brazil, Zachary. Can you believe that?
Oh, Brazil! Hey! All right, a lot of Brazilians out. Yeah. Were you guys at CCXP in Sao Paulo when I was there? A few of you? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, okay. Well, those of you who weren't there, thanks a lot. Unbelievable. I had to go to Germany for you to meet me in Germany? Unbelievable. Yes?
Hey, Zach. Huge fan of yours since Chuck. And actually, I have two questions for you.
Oh, you only get one. I'm so sorry. I'm kidding.
Okay. So then one then. Now, about Chuck, I mean, like, I'm a huge fan of the series, and the end of the 5th season was a little bit bittersweet. So my question would be like, what did you personally think about that end? And would you like to have a follow-up in a movie or a 6th season of it?
Well, to call it bittersweet, thank you. That was very diplomatic. Although I would probably call it that as well. But the truth is, I don't know that I don't know that it's actually technically bittersweet, because it's only bittersweet if you. Wait, how many people have actually seen Chuck? By just show of hands. Well, there's a lot of non-Chucksters out here. Okay, well.
Well, we can change.
First of all, shame on you. But second, I don't want to spoil anything either. How do I answer this without spoiling it? Well, whatever. You guys should have watched it by now. Spoiler alert's on you. It's only bittersweet if it's not what you hoped it would be, right? Bittersweet is like, it's sweet, it ends, but it's like, oh, I didn't love the way that ended. Now, I know some people don't love the way that it ended, and I can understand that, but I think the biggest reason why people don't love the reason why people don't love the way Chuck ended is because they're still questioning whether or not Sarah remembered. They're still asking themselves, I've spent 5 years investing in this relationship and in these characters, and you've just ripped her memory out of her head. Why the fuck would they do that? Anyway, rip the memory out of her head and then sit us back on that beach with me in tears for the 3rd episode in a row. Oh, it's all the ugly crying. By the way, anybody who hasn't seen Chuck yet, when you get to like the 2nd to last episode of the season or the series, just a lot of ugly crying, just slobbering, really bad faces. Thank you, I appreciate that. But I don't believe that she didn't get her memory back. Not for a second. It can't have been that. The show is an optimistic show. I mean, no matter how many bad guys we came across, and how many times we all got captured. Which, by the way, just to take a tangent, here we go. We literally, Chuck, in the premise of the show, if you've not watched it, I'm protected by the 2 top spies in the United States government. The top CIA spy and the top NSA spy, and yet, invariably, almost every episode or every other episode, the bad guys get a jump on us. Like, they're always capturing us. And I'm constantly a part of that because I got out of the car. Anyway, but the show was too optimistic. It was never a pessimistic show. It was never something where I think you would walk away from it and go, oh man, that sucked. You know, there were moments that were deep and hard and emotional, but at the end of the day, of course she got her memory back. Of course, I mean, and might not have been the magic kiss, but I'll tell you what, kind of a cool way to look at it if any of you are still kind of salty over Chuck, which again, totally up to you if you want to be salty about it. But if you look at it like, oh, it's the perfect way to go back and rewatch the series, because now, if you start at the beginning, it's Chuck telling Sarah their whole story to bring her back up to speed about where they started. And that's actually kind of a cool loop, right? It's kind of a cool way to build the show in a way. Do I wish that they would have done it in a way that would have given Chuck fans a little better closure about all of that? Yeah, because then people like yourself wouldn't have to ask me this question every single convention, which I'm happy to answer. I would love to continue it. I've said it many times. I've been wanting to do a Chuck movie even before we did our last season of Chuck. I saw the digital wave of online content. It was very real even then. And I was like, guys, let's go make some, before Veronica Mars and all that, I was like, let's go make a movie. We just haven't yet. Because I'm the only person actively trying to make that happen, I think. But eventually, I think hopefully with like SHAZAM, now that I've got a better platform where I can maybe go to Warner Brothers, who is the studio who is SHAZAM studio and also the studio that is Chuck studio, ironic. If I could go to those executives and say, let me have this, let me go make something fun, I would love to. Even if it takes another 20 years and I'm like a geriatric Chuck. Let's go get them, Sarah. Anyway, I hope I'm not like that in
I
20
like
years.
that. We have a question here in
Yes.
the row. Would you stand up, please?
Hi.
Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte! Sarah!
Hi, good to see you again. Actually, just wondering, you say that you always play video games and so on. What are you currently playing? Do you even have the time to play video games? And I have a short other question.
Yeah. Well, everybody else is asking too. You might as well.
Yeah, I thought so too. And the second one would be if you just, you say that you can sing actually, and you proved it a couple of times, but I would love you to prove that in front of the German audience. So I give you a hint, I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself in advance, but standing here, it's all so clear.
Oh, you're trying to sing Tangled with me?
Yeah,
Nope, not gonna happen, honey. Nope.
Not even
You can applaud all you want. And at last I see the light. That's it. That's all you get.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And it's like the fog is lifted. That's not for real. That's the end. Thank you.
Thank you for
And at
that.
last I.
Just keep on.
Wait, what was your first question? Oh, current video game, right? None, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I've been pretty slammed just with life in a lot of other areas. You know, that's not to say that when I'm not slammed, I haven't spent unhealthy amounts of time playing video games, like unhealthy. Like bed sore level, like, you know, they're just sitting there on a couch, not showering for a few days with pizza boxes stacked up, and like, all right, this feels like a good choice in life. And you get to like the end of, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've come to the end of a video game. By the way, I loved, like games that I've super enjoyed, and I do think that while video games can be a bit of a time suck, and by a bit I mean can be an incredible time suck, they have also very much enriched my understanding and appreciation of storytelling and characters and writing and directing. I mean, particularly nowadays, video games are some of the most intriguing stories that you can even find. I don't know if any of you have played a game called The Last of Us, but it is, to me, yeah, right? I played, that is a perfect example of a game that you totally get lost in, and you're like, oh, this is better than most movies that I watch, and I get to be in the fucking movie. I'm in it. I'm running around using bricks against clickers and stuff like that. How creepy are those clickers, guys? Anyway, I don't know what clickers is in German, but you have to play the game. But the point is, video games, I think, can be incredible, and I'm pro video game, but I am also pro mental health. And go with me for a second here. I know that so much of the video game playing I've done in my life is a direct result of wanting to check out, to disengage in society, because I was dealing with some stuff, and we all do. We all deal with things, and we all have, whether it's video games or other things, comics or reading or movies or the gym even, you know, like we're kind of conditioned to want to escape the pain, whereas to escape the problem, to not head right into what that problem is. And after a lot of therapy, I've learned to do all that better and want to head into the problem head on, because that's where the growth is, right? But video games are really fucking tricky, guys, because what they do is, if you haven't already realized this, and there's a lot of studies that talk about this, they've built video games now in a way where they constantly are releasing dopamine in our brains. They are constantly releasing, we constantly get to checkpoints. We constantly get to achievements. We constantly get to these, by the way, and not real checkpoints and achievements, but virtual checkpoints and achievements, which can be super fun. But don't think that it's not tricking your brain into thinking that you are achieving in your actual physical lives. And you can do both. You can achieve in your physical life and you can achieve in the virtual life at the same time. I'm not saying don't play video games. I'm saying we need to also be very careful about how much time and why we're putting the time into those things. So that's something that I have definitely recently kind of been on that journey of, well, why was I spending X amount of hours every day playing Destiny 2? Well, because it was a great game. Also because I wanted to check out for a while, you know? I get to the end of playing like any Zelda, which is still one of the best franchises ever. I'm still only like a quarter of the way through Breath of the Wild. It's so mad. Anybody play Breath of the Wild yet? It's so, wow, only like 6 people? Gosh, jeez Louise. Woo! Anyway. But you get to the end of a Zelda game and it tells you like, oh, congratulations, you beat Ganon and you got all the heart containers. And, and it shows you like the gameplay time, your time clock. And it said something like 1,000,000 hours. I don't even know what it said. It was an unhealthy amount of time. And you get to the end and you feel this huge thing like, I did it! I did it! And then you're sitting on your couch and you look around and there's nobody there. Who are you celebrating with, other than your friends who might also play the game? And when you see them, you go, hey, I beat it! Like, oh yeah, and then that's about the end of that conversation. Right? Now, again, you still got a lot of cool artistic, I mean, there's so many artists, right, that go into making all of these games, so there's so much to appreciate. We just need to learn how to balance it all, you know? With all technology, we gotta learn how to balance the amount of time we spend on our phones. It's like, our phones, if you think about it, I thought a lot about it, I could be wrong, but bear with me. Your phone is like, it's like, these smartphones are like the greatest Swiss Army knife that's ever been created in the history of mankind. It can literally do more things, one thing, by the way, and a teeny thing too. I mean, bigger than a Swiss Army knife, but soon they won't be. That one thing you can eat, it can help you eat, you can literally get a roof over your head, you can buy clothes, you can go on Amazon, buy fucking anything. You can hire a car to pick you up and drive you anywhere. And now we have digital money, right? So like, you know, Apple Cash and all these things. You don't even need any, it's your wallet for all things. So it's an incredible tool that we have. And yet simultaneously, it's also the deepest narcissist pool that we've ever stared into. It's like Black Mirror, right? Like the show Black Mirror. That's what Black Mirror means. It's the screen that's off that you're looking at that's glass. It's your phone or your tablet, and we all stare into this thing and we get lost in it, and our worth, we think our worth is in that pool. Your worth is not in that pool, guys. Your worth is in here. You are born, you exist in this world, so therefore you have all the worth that you need. Right from that, the very fact that you exist means you have all the worth that you need. If we keep going here to find it, we're all gonna get real lost really fast. So we just gotta be mindful of all that stuff, you know? And also, really cool stuff, right?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of you, and I made a digital painting, and I want to give it to you.
Yeah, you can totally bring it up here if you like. Say that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's fantastic. Really good. And what was your name? Sophie? Sophie, I'm Zachary. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. If it's okay, I'm going to probably sign that and auction it for charity. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. That's what I do with this stuff. Because otherwise I get a lot of amazing fan art. And then I'm like, well, the only other thing I can do with it is make a big shrine of myself in my home. Which is totally not egotistical at all. I'm going to put that right there. Of course, thank you so much.
Okay, and here we go.
Oh, hello, Chloe.
Hi.
Hey, nice cosplay.
Which cities that you traveled to for a convention did you enjoy the most? And quick second question, do you have like a favorite dance move?
Totally unrelated questions. Well, I mean, Cologne is the best city I've traveled to for a convention. But outside of Cologne, Sao Paulo was the next, right? But outside of Cologne and Sao Paulo, that's a really good question. I mean, the tricky thing is like, every convention you go to, regardless of how big or small or whatever that is or where it is in the world, conventions are full of really lovely people, right? I mean, people will come up to the table where I'm signing at any city and they'll be like, are you enjoying, you know, whatever city I'm in? Are you enjoying Denver? Are you enjoying Salt Lake? And I tell people often, it's like, well, I am, but the truth is, when we come to conventions, often, as actors or whatever, you're either in the hotel or you're in the convention center. and then back to the hotel, and then back to, you don't really get a lot of time to go and explore. But what you do get, and you get it more than really, I can't even think of another job that allows for this, but other than maybe being a politician, is that I get to go to cities and I meet the people of the city, and I meet the people of the area, of the whole region. I mean, the amount of people that I've met so far just at this convention, you get to know a city almost even more intimately than if you were to go walk around and see all of the sights and all of the beautiful architecture, which I'm really grateful that I did get to go see the cathedral, which is stunning, and walk around the city and go to some beautiful, beer gardens and stuff like that. And by beautiful, I mean had great beer. Like that's all great, but I actually, on a different level, I get to feel and meet and understand a city on different levels. So they're all really lovely if you can kind of see it in that way. I think that, San Diego Comic-Con is such a massive deal, and that's a cool thing, to check in with, and obviously doing Nerd HQ, which you know so well about, and as does Alex. Chloe, Alex, any other Nerd HQ crewers here? And they're like, hi, how are you? Like doing a Nerd HQ all those years and being in San Diego, that's a really cool, it's like a big festival feel, it's like everybody and all the things, like that's really cool. Dragon Con in Atlanta, that's another big one, like huge for cosplay. There's people spilling all over the streets, drinking and having a merry time, that's fun. Salt Lake Comic Con, I just think they're, full of so many really, really genuinely lovely people, and they come out in mass. Every single time I've ever had a panel or anything, just people are there and they're so full of love. So, I don't know, it's difficult to, it's like, that's like asking an alcoholic, what's your favorite beer? It's like, I like them all. They're all tasty. Yeah. Oh, and my favorite dance move, I don't know, but it wouldn't be the floss. That needs to die. We don't need to do that floss dance anymore. That was ironic when I did it in the movie. We should all be flossing more. Definitely do that, but not floss dancing.
So, yes. Zachary, now
who
saw you in Sao Paulo, actually, at the CCXP, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm here again.
And yes, you are.
For me, SHAZAM is the best movie from DC.
Thank you.
And I want to know what is the best lesson that the movie gives to the people, in your opinion.
Oh wow. Well, again, thank you. I really appreciate that. There are. I don't know that I would agree with you that we're the best DC movie, but again, that's opinions and subjective, and I think that's a beautiful opinion to hold. But there's so many incredible DC movies that have been made over the many years of the DC movies that have been made. But I would say that we're probably, arguably, because again, it's all subjective, but we might be the funniest of the DC movies, right? Because just by default, it's about a 14-year-old kid who gets, a magic word to become this knucklehead, and then learn his superpowers and floss dance. That's ridiculous, and it's full of so much heart and humor, and therefore joy. So there's definitely that, and I'm really grateful that we got to do that. And as far as the lessons that are learned from the movie, one of the coolest things about the movie was that the movie genuinely has just so much heart. It has so much like the family that is the beating heart of the whole movie. I think that's a huge part of the lessons that we learn in that movie. Your family is not necessarily who you're born into. Your family is sometimes, and quite often, actually with almost everyone, right? Like even if you love the family that you were born into, how many people are in your life right now that you would call family that aren't your blood relatives? Even if you have a great blood family, you find family through your life. You find your tribe through your life, and that's a beautiful thing. And the movie speaks to that, and I'm really grateful that we get to do that. Moreover, it's one of the coolest, as far as diversity is concerned, it's one of the most insanely diverse films that as far as casts I've ever seen. It's a rainbow collection of ethnicities, but it's also like one kid who's disabled, and all of them are foster kids. I can't think of another movie that represents groups of underrepresented people more in one movie. Like, it's crazy. It's so cool. So that's stuff I think that we learn from. I think that, learning that, you know, self-sacrifice, which by the way is a theme in most superhero movies. Like, you know, it is about sacrifice. It is about putting others in front of you and fighting for that and laying your life on the line. A lot of really beautiful things in all of that, you know. But I think that aside from the lessons, I think that one of the greatest gifts that we're able to bring people with Shazam is joy, which is sadly lacking in the world today. There's so many things that are going on. In all parts of the world, there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of hate and there's, you know, and we can work through it, guys. We can all work through it. I swear to you, I promise. I know it in my heart. We can work through all this stuff. But we gotta stop being afraid of each other. We gotta stop listening to people who want to make us afraid of each other. And we gotta start holding on to things like love, like kindness, like empathy, like understanding, like patience, like joy. Joy helps us to get there. Joy helps us for our walls to come down and not be so angry. And I love that I get to be a part of things like Chuck. Chuck did that. Tangled did that. Shazam does that. To bring joy to people. Like as an entertainer, that's the biggest reason I even got into all of this. I was a little kid, just all I wanted to do was make people laugh. That was it. I mean, literally, you would just wind my back and I would just be like, you know, like all I wanted to do. I would not shut up. It was not a good thing. There was no off switch. But I knew that in my heart, all I wanted to do was something that was good. And now I get to do that and I get paid for it. And that's super groovy. So, yeah, that's a long answer to your question. Yes, over there, yes. Thank you very much.
Now.
You really don't have to applaud after it. I mean, I appreciate it. You can. Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Marty.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you like hoverboards?
I love hoverboards.
Really?
Are you gonna give me a hoverboard right now?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, can I take a picture with the hoverboard?
Oh, see, that's what it is. You just wanted to give us so you can get a picture? You can keep your hoverboard, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So my question is, in the post-credit scene of the movie Shazam, he obviously made a joke about Aquaman's powers.
I did?
Yeah. With the fish?
With the fish?
Yeah. Aquaman
I don't remember what you're talking about. Okay. Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is there a chance Aquaman will be in the next Shazam or a crossover movie just like Batman versus Superman?
I mean, after making that joke about him, I'm sure he's pretty salty about it and doesn't want to be in the next Shazam movie. No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would love that. I love a good teen movie, right? We all love a good teen movie. That's why Avengers did $1 zillion at the box office. It's if we get to make another Justice League and Shazam gets to be in the Justice League, I would lose my mind. I think it'd be so much fun. And in lieu of that, if DC and Warner Brothers and New Line think, you know, find it cool to either have other DC heroes in my movies, or I get to go and make cameos in their movies, I'd love to do that too. I just love that I get to be an actor and I get to be, you know, wear spandex and a cape and pretend to fly. Like, it's the stupidest job ever. It's amazing. I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, whatever they decide to do, I'll be very happy to do that. Particularly if Gal Gadot is involved. I think that would. She's so talented because she's talented. That has nothing to do with how she looks. She's a talented girl. Who's next? Oh, right over there. Hello.
Our next question.
Hi, Zachary. My name is Andre.
Hi, Andre.
Before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you very much for taking so much time to answer all our questions. Very much appreciated.
Happy to. Yeah. My favorite thing to do. I mean, this is a fan convention. Like, I don't know. Like, this is why we're here, isn't it? Anyway, continue. Yes, sir.
All right. So my question is, in the movie Shazam, Billy has to shout Shazam to bring out his super persona.
Yeah.
What do you shout in real life to bring out your super persona?
I like that question.
You have no idea how much filtering I just had to do. Don't say that. Tequila. I think that's my... Because tequila helps me be that like salsa dancer emoji. You know what I'm talking about? The red dress? Anyway. It's one of my favorite emojis. If you follow me on social media, you know that. I like salsa dancer, I quite like girl with hand like this, and also fingernail polish. Those are some of my favorites. They all mean something. Who's next?
Zachary, look over here.
Over there.
That's so cool.
You light up too?
Yeah.
Why didn't you light up earlier?
Well, because you can't really see it all.
Oh, whatever.
It's better in here.
It's okay, it's fine, it's great.
So my question was actually bringing it back to video games.
Yeah.
Is there a particular franchise you actually want to be a part of, as well as like a developer you want to work for?
You mean as far as like the games themselves, or the film or television adaptations thereof?
No, like in the game, like actually motion capture and everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like The Last of Us. I mean, I think that Naughty Dog, particularly when it comes to Uncharted and Last of Us, they've really tapped into and made great third-person adventure games that you feel wrapped up in ways that like Tomb Raider kind of game, like Zelda even before that. You know, you're going and you're exploring, and there's puzzles and there's things and there's witty dialogue and now the graphics are so insane that they're photorealistic. You know, it's incredible how far we've come. So that to me, probably the games that I would want to be or the franchises that I want to be most involved with are the ones that have the best writing, the best directing. You know, because there's a lot of games that are really fun to play. Like, you know, Call of Duty's fun to play for a while. Even like Destiny's fun to play as a first-person game. But you know, like you're not a Destiny. Oh, take it easy. Any other Destiny players? Destiny? Anybody play Destiny? Oh wow. Well, we're the minority, guys. But you know, they're not. But those aren't really. They're not as story-based. I mean, there's definitely story in them, but you don't feel the same amount of like acting and, you know, how those cutscenes are used in them. Naughty Dog is a great example of using beautiful cutscenes to complement what is beautiful gameplay. So I would say something along those lines, yeah. And also even in the, I mean, I played the first Uncharted. It first came out. I played the first Uncharted as like, that dude's the new Indiana Jones. I want to be the new Indiana Jones. I'm finding out where the movie rights are. And I called Naughty Dog. And I got on the phone with whoever, I don't know who it was. I was like, hi, you don't know me. I'm an actor in Los Angeles. Who has the film rights to your video game? I said just like that. And they were like, oh no, they've already been bought up and it was Aria Rod and the whole deal. But I 100%, I was like, that is such a fun franchise, and I hope they make that. I still hope they make that. Apparently Tom Holland is attached to be Nathan Drake, a young version of Nathan Drake, and he's a very talented and upstanding gentleman. So I wish him nothing but luck. But if that doesn't work out, I would love to be Nathan Drake. Also, Nathan Fillion would love to be Nathan Drake, and he's also, like, the face is kind of modeled after Nathan Fillion. And it's just a great role. But also, The Last of Us. I think they're going to turn that into a movie too, and I think that would be an amazing role. Anyway, all of those things.
Next question comes from Martin.
Thanks for being here at first.
Happy to be, man.
Yeah. The first question is, or the only one is it possible to invite you to some nachos or popcorn? Because they want really to get in touch with you. They told me 5 minutes before, and they have no chance to that.
Is there any chance for me to go eat their popcorn? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, hi popcorn people.
Oh, they got a special greeting. That was nice.
The popcorn people.
They asked me for that because they have in touch.
I am honored that you would want to give me some of that popcorn. I don't want any, if that's okay. I'm just not in the mood for popcorn right now. It's gonna get all stuck in my teeth. I'm gonna need some floss picks. It's gonna, you know what I'm talking about, when the kernels. You ever gotten one of those little? It's because it's always that little teeny brown bit of the kernel, and it ends up down in your gums, and you're like, how is that ever coming out? I gotta believe that somehow your gums have the ability to dissolve it once it gets trapped down there, because I don't know how you get it out. You try to get it in, you try to pick at it with a little thing, you're just tearing them all up. Stays in there. It's dangerous. You're dangerous. You're tasty, but you're dangerous.
And the next one.
Yes. Hi.
Just a small question because
I won't eat the popcorn, sir.
No,
Don't even try.
It's just a small question because you
somebody spoke about SHAZAM 2, other about Chuck. What about a cameo Chuck in SHAZAM 2 or something like that?
A Chuck cameo in Shazam 2?
Like that.
Don't think I haven't thought about it, sir. I still own one full set of the Chuck Nerd Herd outfit. I stole one full set when we finished the show for such an occasion. So maybe I'll slide him in there. I don't know. It's a little meta. But it could be kind of fun. I don't think that, like, if anything, it would be just like Chuck walking in the background. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like Chuck meeting Shazam. It would be Shazam somewhere, and then you just see somebody who eerily looks like me, wearing the full Chuck attire, running after some like masked assailant, and Shazam's like, "Whoa, that was weird," and then that's it. That would be the whole Chuck camp. But yeah, I think that could be kind of fun.
We're over here.
And now over here. Hey, Vanessa, you're so good at this.
Thank you.
You're indicating, you're speaking.
Expansion.
We're gonna take this on the road. We're gonna do all of Germany. It's gonna be great. Frankfurt's next.
So I have one fun fact and one question.
Okay.
Do you know what your name means in Greek?
In Greek?
Yeah.
No.
It's good. It means sugar.
It means sugar?
Yeah, it's called Zachary in Greek.
Listen, darling. If I had a nickel for every time somebody called me sugar. That's awesome. By the way, in Germany, we saw a sign that said Zac, Z-A-C-K. And I was asking our driver, I was like, is that like a name? And then, but the driver said it means quick. Do you guys say Zac?
Zac, Zac.
Zac, Zac.
It's like quick, right guys?
Zac, Zac means quick, right? So, quick sugar? Sugar quick? Fast sweets?
And my question is, now that Disney is doing so many live action movies, would you like to be a specific prince in one of them ideally, or?
In what now?
In one of the new Disney live action.
The Disney live, would I want to be a prince in a Disney live action?
Or a princess, I mean.
Oh. Now you're picking up what I'm laying down. I think the obvious choice would be to play Flynn Rider in a live action. Wait. I mean, thank you. Sugar. Quick sugar. You just gotta say, sugar! Right? Saying it. Anyway. Wow, that was the stupidest joke. But as much as I would love to play Flynn Rider in a live action Tangled, by the time they get around to that, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be the right guy to play that role. I'll be there to coach that guy. I'll make sure he understands what that smolder means, but I think my hair will be like Steve Martin white by the time they get it live action Tangled. So, in lieu of playing Flynn Rider in a live action Tangled, I would say, I don't know, Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
Aww.
Look at this stuff.
You need my hair for that, Zachary.
How was that?
You need my hair for that.
I do. I totally need your hair for that, and a couple of shells. Just, we gotta keep it decent, guys. Come on. Yes. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Zach. I think it was 2 years ago at DragonCon, you were asked about what your dream is, and you went on a lengthy, rather teary explanation. I was wondering if you've got any closer to that dream, or if anything changed. We could talk about that a bit.
Yeah.
I have tissues.
Well, you know what? What's interesting is that going through therapy has helped me to talk about things that I'm passionate about without it overcoming me as much, right? Like a lot of the times when I would be very passionate and I would start kind of tearing up. By the way, it still happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's the tissues ready to go. But it's definitely, as I've gotten healed more, it brings you more peace. The more healing you get in your life, guys, the more you can work on you, the more at peace, the stronger you will be in your life, the more capable you will be of helping other people, be it your family, your kids, and sometimes reverse that, your parents, your co-workers, your community, whatever. Go work on you. You don't need to worry about working on everybody else. Like they tell you in a plane, take that mask and put it on your face first. Make sure the air is flowing, then help people with their mask. It's the same thing in life. Go do that. So the more I've done that, the less worried I've become about going and having to save the world on a regular basis. Because I've always felt that in me as a kid. I've always felt this, like, I really want to go make the world a better place, as you know. And, but speaking to specifically what I was talking about in a Dragon Con, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do think I'm making progress in that direction. So a few years ago, I bought a bunch of property in Texas, and my dream for that has always been, and for 20 years prior to buying that property, my dream was to go build a place. It's kind of a new kind of community. It's going to focus on a film studio, but the idea is to create a place where health is one of the highest priorities, where humanity is one of the highest priorities, where we can show people that you can be seen and you can be heard and you can be loved and you can be accounted for, and that you exist and you deserve to exist in the place that you're in, and we can all make money. We can all make money and take care of ourselves and take care of each other. We actually can do it. There's enough money and there's enough resources in the world. I'm not an economist, so don't hold me to that from an economic standpoint, but I am an altruist and I am an optimist, and I fully believe that if we create the right space and we can help people who have all the money and all the power, which is what I talked about at Dragon Con, is to show them that their worth is not based in their billions of dollars. That if we can show billionaires that are hoarding all of this power and money, that they are also lovable, that they are also loved. I mean, think about it. How reviled it's a big thing in the world. I mean, at least in the United States, it's all about that top 1% of people. They're the greedy, they're the bad, they're the evil, they're hoarding all of the resources. And we need to spread that out. So people who are at the top are often very, very, very reviled. Guess what? That's not going to get us any closer to a better world, guys. We can't hate people into a better future. We have to love people into a better future. And if we can go to these people who hold the power and hold the money and say, hey, guess what? No matter what you do, you can still be selfish with all that. I'm still going to love you. 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 And I'm still going to love you. And eventually, hopefully, those people feel that love and feel that worth. And then they know they don't need us. Here we go. Here we go. And then, I'm good. And then they know that they don't need it. And then you can help guide them to where all of that is needed the most. And then we have a really fucking groovy world if we can do that. So that's what I'm trying to do on my land in Texas. That's one of the things I'm trying to do there, is create a place where everyone feels safe and everyone feels loved. And we can talk about truth, real truth. Not just opinion, not just all of the things that get thrown around. Like I was talking to somebody earlier, I don't know, again, it's the US and Germany, and there's a lot of similarities in Western culture, but there's a lot of differences as well. I don't know what the news is like here. I know what the news is like in the United States, and it's a bunch of bullshit. I don't watch any of it. It's a bunch of people. The news used to be, it was facts and only facts. It was like, here's the data of the world. Here's what the temperature is. Here's what's going on over here. Here's what's going on over here. Here's a quaint little story about a dog that got saved in a ditch, and maybe some also slightly depressing things that went on. But these are facts and only the facts. Now you turn on the news and it's a million channels of a bunch of people who are a bunch of blowhards who are literally making a living off creating drama in our lives. That's what they're doing. You trust me, guys. This is what's. And by the way, and I don't even revile them, because they're in the same system. They think that that's what they're supposed to do. We got to stop all that stuff. We got to get to what is really true. We need a new baseline. We need to all center, everybody in the world. Guys, think about this. Just go with me for a second. I mean, you've already been doing it, so tough. You're going to keep going. Rabbit hole. Here we go. So up to let's say the 1300s, which is not that long ago in the course of human history, if you think about it. up until like the 1300s, 1400s, most of the world didn't even know that the rest of the world even existed. We didn't even know. Germany didn't know, or most of Germany anyway, maybe all of them, had no idea that China was even a place. We didn't know. There was the steppe people. There was Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire that literally rode horses up to the gates of Germany. It was like, they're like, who are these people on these horses? They're kicking our asses. And then it wasn't until like Marco Polo, whatever, they did like voyages over for real. Like, this is all history. I'm not making this up. Some of it I'm making up. Anyway, but then they were like, oh my God, there's people over there. And so for the last like 600 years or whatever, only in the course of human history, only about 600, 700 years have we even all fully known that there's all these other people, and we all grew up in our different societies believing various different things. Some of those things are very, very true, and ironically, a lot of the core tenets of a lot of the places that we grew up are all lining up to what is actual truth. That's where we need to get to, and if we can do that, and we have places where we can do that, and we can speak about things without being crucified. That's another problem we have in the world right now. If you want to speak something that you believe to be true, but it's not popular, you're done. It's the French Revolution all over again. It's like, bring out the guillotines and let's start cutting off heads. And that is not the way we get to a better world, not in my opinion. So we have to make places that are guillotine-less, that are not about killing people, that are not about shaming people into whatever we think our truth is. We have to create places where we are open to learning, we are open to growing, and we are open to loving, and we're doing that on a regular 24/7 basis. Guys, if we do it, I promise, I believe in everything in me. If we do, and if I'm wrong, then we went out swinging in love, right? But I don't think I'm wrong. I think that's how we get there. So that's what I want to do, and I think I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah. Done. We got 6.5 minutes.
Oh, good to know.
Which means with my answers, one more question. No, I'm kidding.
I'm Lorena, also from Brazil.
Hello.
Hi, best panel so far.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And now that I gave you sugar, could you please give me sugar and tell us something about SHAZAM 2? Spoilers, you can tell them for me, but you can't tell them.
When did you give me sugar?
I said you were the best panel so far.
Oh, that's giving me sugar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were actually going to give me some sugar. Like some kind of like Kinder chocolate or something. So SHAZAM 2. Well, the truth is I don't really know anything. I mean, I know that I'm going to have a conversation with my bosses pretty soon about like what the idea is and where we're going with the new movie, but all I really know is that New Line, our studio, and Warner Brothers, our parent studio, and DC, and our producers and executives and everybody who's involved in all the decision making, they're all very happy with what we did. They want to do even better the second time around, and they are crafting a story right now as we speak about what that sequel is going to be. The only other thing I know is that I know they want to make it as soon as possible because those kids are growing up like weeds. So if we don't do that in like, the next 2 days, they're going to be full-grown adults. I mean, just to give you an example, so we did principal photography, meaning like the bulk of the filming of SHAZAM. We did that over the course of like, let's say 4 months or so in Toronto, Canada. And then we had about a 6-month break. We came back to do additional photography and, kind of like massage certain bits and pieces here and there, add where we needed to add, subtract where we needed to subtract. And that was about a month of doing that. In the 6 months from when we stopped principal photography to when we started additional photography, Jack and Asher quite literally grew so much that they couldn't match their faces with what they looked like 6 months prior because they're like 13. Like that's the moment where hormones are like shooting through their body. They're like, I don't know who I am anymore. And their voices are cracking and stuff. It's so crazy. So if we don't shoot another movie real quick, then they're just gonna be, men. They'll be what? There's no point in saying SHAZAM to transform. They're already transformed. You know what I mean? So that's all I can tell you about the sequel. But I'm very excited to get into it, making it. I hope you guys all really enjoy it when we do. Yes, over here.
Hi. If you were given a blank check to do whatever you want to do, like directing, acting, finally recording the jazz album, what would you do?
If I had a blank check to do anything, ice cream for everyone. It's like I'm running for like student office in middle school or something. I'm gonna put ice cream on everyone's desk. No, if I had a blank check, I would go and build these communities. I would go and keep trying to do stuff that is hopefully just leading all of us back to light, and to life, and to love, and to the places that we're just being distracted from right now. There's this concept of good and evil, and not that I don't think that there are evil acts, but I don't believe that there's evil people. I don't. I think that there are people that are either enlightened or not enlightened. There are people that are ignorant or not ignorant. There are people that are afraid or not afraid, that they're broken or not broken. And by the way, we're all broken, FYI. If you're thinking that you don't have some kind of brokenness in your mind or in your heart or in your body, we all know when our body's broken. That's easy. But we don't take a lot of time to sit around and go, do I have like a little, like the equivalent of like a sprained ankle in my head even? Like, we don't really sit around and think about that. Guess what you do? We all have these little hiccups, these little places where we're not seeing things entirely clearly, And I think that's where we gotta dig into all that stuff and help people find freedom. So I use my blank check to do that, because then if we can do that, then everybody really does get ice cream. You know what I mean? Then everybody share their ice cream. Because it's just we're stoked, we're happy, and we want other people to succeed, and we're not afraid of other people succeeding. Because it's like, I don't know if in Germany you have this saying, but a rising tide lifts all boats, lifts all ships. If we can raise the tide, we all do better. If we're all just trying to build bigger boats, we're fucked. Sorry to use. Is that French ultimately? I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I use to make. Yeah. Yes, Maria.
Yeah, so from what we get to know about your personality, you're a pretty upbeat or positive person.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly that. So, also your answers right now, they were pretty positive, but you are in a DC world now. So, and I think it's pretty funny that you get to be the only, or like one of the only upbeat and funny characters in DC. So, my question would be, would you be interested to play, for example, the Joker or any villain?
Yes. Look, if DC came to me and said, hey Zach, we'd love to be in business with you. Would you like to play any of the characters in our catalog? My answer would be yes, please, thank you. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some that I'd like to play more, I suppose, because I think they're more dynamic characters. But yeah, I would love to play some dark, brooding. I mean, there's a reason why Batman is one of the most successful characters. In fact, from a TV and film standpoint, Batman is far more successful than Superman, right? Although Superman is a far more popular character in the annals of history. So why is that? Think about it. Superman, and by the way, I love Superman. Superman is the ultimate Boy Scout. Superman is like tried and true, like he's always gonna choose right, and I love that because characters like Chuck and Shazam are kind of like similar in that regard. I love that about Superman, but it's for the world we live in and all the things that we kind of hold up and value and whatever. I mean, Batman's way sexier. Batman's like, he's got issues. By the way, that's mental health. If you're still attracted to people who have issues, go work on your own issues. That's literally, right? But we aren't. Oh no, I'm getting kicked off the stage.
Guys.
Anyway, so yes, I'd love to do all of that.
Oh my God, that has been such an amazing hour.
Thank you, Cologne!
Did you enjoy it?
Thank you so much. I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me here. I can't wait to come back.
That was amazing. Thank you for sharing all of this, answering all of those questions. I think we're all really happy with how this turned out. And ladies and gentlemen, please give it up one more time for Zachary Levy.